Okay, good morning, grade 8 students. The first topic for the first quarter of grade 8 mathematics, it was we called factoring polynomials. So in factoring polynomials, there are many ways. We have the so-called the greatest common factor, the difference of two squares, the sum and difference of two cubes, perfect square trinomials, and the general trinomials. Okay, first is you are going to factor out polynomials using the greatest common factor. For example, if we have 4x plus 8y is equal to, as you can see, 4 and 8 has the common factor of 4. So take it out, write it as your divisor, and divide the given polynomials by your divisor as 4. So 4x divided by 4, you will have x, plus 8y divided by 4, you will have 2y. So therefore, the factors of 4x plus 8y is equal to 4 times the product times the sum of the quantity x plus 2y closed. Okay, for example, another example, for example, you have 3a squared minus 3a squared b minus 6ab squared. So the common factor of 3 and 6 is 3. The common factor of a and a squared is a. The common factor of b and b squared is b. Then multiply it by, so divide. 3 divided by 3 is 1, so no need to write 1. A squared divided by a is a. B divided by b is 1, so no need to write 1. Minus 6 divided by 3 is 2. A divided by A is 1, no need to write 1. So B squared divided by B is B. So therefore, the factors of 3A squared B minus 6A B squared is equal to 3AB times the quantity of the open A minus 2B closed. Okay, another example, number 3. For example, is if we have uh, 3x squared minus 9x minus 30 is equal to 3, 9, and 30 has the common factor of 3. To take it out, 3 as your divisor, then divide the given polynomials by 3. So 3x squared divided by 3, you will have x squared minus 9x divided by 3, you will have 3x minus 30 divided by 3 is 10. So you will have now the terms inside the quantity x squared minus 3x minus 10 is still factorable. So you are going to factor it out again. So rewrite, copy 3, then factor out the terms inside the quantity. Now, the factors of x squared is x times x. The factors of 10 is 10 times 5. Sorry. The factors of 10 is 5 times 2. Since the last term or the sign of 10 is negative, it follows therefore that one factor of 10 is negative. And since the middle term is negative, therefore the greatest factor of 10 must have the negative sign. So 5 and 10, 5 is greater than 2. So 5 must have the negative sign, 2 must be positive. So that if you are going to multiply negative 5 times x, you will have negative 5x. Then x times 2, you will have positive 2x. If you are going to add negative 5x plus positive 2x, you will have negative 3x, which is the middle term. Okay? So next, so we are going to factor a polynomial if the given product is the difference of two squares. Now, if you have the difference of two squares, remember that if the given product is the difference of two squares, therefore the factors must be equal to the sum and difference of two numbers. It has the general formula x squared minus y squared must be equal to a plus b times a minus b. So remember, x squared minus y squared is the difference of two squares, and the factors must be equal to the sum and difference of two numbers. So example of the difference of two squares, for example, if you have x squared minus 1 equals, okay, since x squared is a perfect square and 1 is also a perfect square, so take the square root of x squared or the product of x squared. So x squared has the factors of x times x, and 1 has the factors of 1 times 1. Then just put positive and the other one is negative. So that is how to factor out the difference of two squares. So always remember that if the product is the difference of two squares, the factors are the sum and difference of two numbers. Another example, for example, you have y squared minus 4 is equal to, okay, if you are going to take y squared minus 4 in the form of x squared minus y, so you will have y squared minus 4, minus 2 squared. So you can have disregard the exponent, copy the base. So the base is y minus 2. Since the factors of the difference of two squares, you have one factor which is y minus 2, so the other factors must be y plus 2. Okay? So another example, if you have b squared minus 25. So if you don't want to transform the given product into x squared minus y squared, let it be. So for example, we have b squared minus 25. So the factors must be, get the factors of b squared, that is b times b. The factors of 25 is 5 times 5, or the square root of 25 is 5. So one is positive, the other one is negative. So that is how to factor out the difference of two squares. Another example, last example, for example, if we have a squared minus 121. So get the square root of a squared, or the factors of a squared is a times a. The square root of 121 is 11 times 11. Then put positive, the first factor, the other one is negative. So okay, that is on how to factor out the difference of two squares. So next, okay. So after the difference of two squares, we have the sum and difference of two cubes. Okay, the sum and difference of two cubes has the formula to be followed. The sum of the two cubes, you have the formula x cube plus y cube must be equal to x plus y times x squared minus xy plus y squared. And the difference of two cubes has the formula x cube minus y cube must be equal to the quantity x minus y times x squared plus xy plus y squared. Okay? For example, if we have x cube plus 27. So this is x cube, plus 27. You are going to write it in the form of x cube plus y cube. So you will have x cube plus get the cube root of 27. So think a number that if you are going to multiply that number 3 times by itself, you will have 27. So what is that number? That is 3. 3 times 3 is 9 times 3 is 27. So you will have 3 raised to 3. So you have now in the form of x cubed plus y cubed. Now, in factoring it out, just copy the base, disregard the exponent. So what is the base? You have x plus 3. Disregard the exponent, meaning you don't have to copy the exponent. Now, the second factor must come from the first factor. Square the x or multiply x times x, the first term, you will have x squared. If it is the sum, the second sign of the second factor must be negative. So, and then multiply x times 3, you will have 3x plus 3 times 3, or square of 3 is 9. So, this is the factors of x cubed plus 27 has the factors of the quantity open x plus 3 close times the quantity open x cubed is x squared minus 3x plus 9 close. Now, if you are going to have x cubed plus 27 be the difference of two cubes, let's say, or if it is x cubed minus 27. So the same thing, you are going to rewrite the given product in the form of x cube minus y cube. So you will have x cube minus the cube root of 27 is 3 raised to 3. Then the factors, disregard the exponent, copy the base. So the base is x minus 3 times the second factor comes from the first factor. Square of x, you will have x squared. Since it is negative, the second factor, the second factor of your first term is negative. So therefore, it follows that the second factor of the second term of the second factor must be negative. Then that positive. Then multiply x times 3, you will have 3x, then plus 3 times 3 is 9. So therefore, the factors of the difference of 2 cubed, which is x cubed minus 27, is equal to the quantity open x minus 3 close times the quantity open x squared plus 3x plus 9 closed. Okay, for example, if we have another example, if you have x cubed over 8 plus 125. So the same thing, you are going to rewrite the product in the form of the sum and difference of two cubes. So that is x over. So what is the cube root of 8? So you have to think a number wherein if you are going to multiply that number 3 times by itself, you will have 8. So what is that number? That is 2. That is 2 times 2 is 4 times 2 is 8. Then square the numerator and the denominator by 3. Then plus. So what is the cube root of 25? 125. You are to think a number wherein if you are going to multiply that number 3 times by itself, you will have 125. So that is 5. 5 times 5 is 25 times 5 is 125. Then raise it to 3. Now you will now have take out or disregard the exponent, copy the base. So you will have x over 2 plus 5 times, okay, square of x over 2, you will have x squared over 4. Since this is positive, the second sign of the second factor must be negative. Then multiply 5 times x over 2, you will have 5x over 2 plus the square of 5 is 25. So that is the factors. So therefore the factors of x cubed over 8 plus 125 is equal to x over 2 plus 5 quantity times the quantity open x squared over 4 minus 5x over 2 plus 25 close. So that is on how to find the factors of the sum and difference of two cubes. Now we are going to factor or how to solve or how to find the factors of a polynomials if the given product is a perfect square trinomial. So we have, for example, so this is for the perfect square trinomial. So in a perfect square trinomial, you have x squared plus 2xy plus y squared must be equal to x plus y quantity squared. It means that if the given product is a perfect square trinomial, the factors must be equal to the square of a binomial. So when can we say or how will you determine if the given factors is a perfect square trinomial? So you are going to analyze if the first term is a perfect square and the last term is a perfect square and the middle term is simply equal to twice the product of the first and the last term, then the given product is a perfect square trinomial. Okay, for example, if we have x squared plus 12x plus 36 equals. Okay, so if you will get the square root of x squared, you will have x. If you are going to get the square root of 36, you will have 6. If you are going to multiply x times 6 times 2, you will have 12x, which is the middle term, 12x. So therefore, this is a perfect square trinomial. So if you have the perfect square trinomial, get the square root of the first term, that is x. If all the factors, if all the terms in the given product have all the positive numbers, have positive signs, then all the factors of that given polynomials are all positive. So you will have positive. Get the square root of 36, you will have 6, and then square it. So the factors of x squared plus 12x plus 36 is equal to the quantity of the sum of x plus 6 quantity squared. Okay? Another example, for example, if you have, okay, if you are going to take this as x squared minus 12x plus 36 equals. So you will notice the only difference is the middle term. All the rest have the same. So therefore, meaning that the the factor of your last term must all be negative. So get the square root of the first term, that is the square root of x squared is x. Get the square root of 36, which is 6. Then since the middle term is negative, so that is negative, then quantity squared. Okay, another example. For example, if you have 25 y squared minus 10 y plus 1 equals. So you have the negative sign. So it follows that 1 must have the sign, the factors of 1 must all be negative. Okay? Get the square root of 25y squared. So the square root of 25 is 5. The square root of y squared is y. The middle term is negative. The square root of 1 is 1 quantity squared. Okay? Next, for example, if you have 25, t is 25 x squared plus 5x over 2 plus 1 over 16. Okay. Okay, the square root of 25 is 5. The square root of x squared is x. Since all the terms in the given product is positive, so all the factors must have the positive sign. Square root of 1 over 6, square root of 1 is 1, over the square root of 16 is 4, then raise it into 2. Okay, next, for example, if you have x squared, if we have x squared plus x plus 1/4 equals. So get the square root of x squared, you will have x. All the terms in the given factors is positive. So all the terms of the factors must also be positive. Square root of 1 is 1 over the square root of 4 is 2 quantity squared. So the factors of x squared plus x plus 1/4 is equal to the quantity open x plus 1/2 close quantity squared. So that is on how to factor out the perfect square trinomial. So next is the general trinomials. Now the general trinomial is the one that is very hard to find the factors, especially when a is greater than 1. You are going to find the factors by trial and error. Okay? For example, so we're going to take an example where in a is equal to 1. So meaning it is in the form of the standard form a x squared plus bx plus c must be equal to 0. So it would be easier to factor out general trinomial when a is equal to 1. For example, you have x squared plus 7x plus 12 equals 0. So the factors is So the factors, so since a is 1, so you don't need to factor, no need to write 1. So the factors of x squared is x times x. Now, the factors of 12, you can have 4 times 3, 6 times 2, and 12 times 1. Now, since a is 1, so you are going to take the factors of 12. You are going to add and subtract in order for us to get the middle term. Since 12 is positive and the middle term is positive, so therefore, all the factors of 12 must be positive. So, therefore, you are going to add 4 plus 3 equals 7, 6 plus 2 equals 12, 12 plus 1 equals 13. 12 and 1 is 12 times 1 is 12. If you are going to add 12 plus 1 is 13. So 6 times 2 is 12. If you are going to add 6 plus 2 is 8. So this is 8. 4 times 3 is 12. If you are going to add 4 plus 3 equals 7. So you have 7 and the middle term is 7. So therefore, the factors of 12 must be positive 3 and positive 4. Okay? Okay, another example. If you have, so if for example, if we have 2x squared minus 5x minus 12 equals 0. So a now is greater than 1. So you are now going to have trial and error. This is done by trial and error, especially when a is greater than 1. So the factors of 2x squared is 2x times x. Now, if you are going, the factors of 12, 12 can be 6 times 2, can be 4 times 3, can be 12 times 1. Okay, so you are going to multiply the factors of 2x squared by the factors of 12 and get the sum. You must have the sum of negative 5x. Okay, if you are going to, this is the factors of 12 and the factors of 2x is 2, 1. Okay? Since the middle term is negative, the product of the two greatest factors of 12 and 2 must be negative. Okay. So, you are going to take an example. If multiply the product. If you are going to multiply 2 times 2, you will have 4. And if you are going to multiply 6 times 1, you will have 6. If you are going, since the greatest factor must be negative, if you are going to add negative 6 plus positive 4 is negative 2, but you have negative 5. So you are going to interchange. This one becomes 2, becomes 2. So this must be 2, trial and error, this must be 1. So if you are going to multiply 6 times 2 is 12, and then 4 times 1 is 4. So 12 minus 4, you will have 8. But the middle term is negative 5x. So therefore, 6 and 2 is no longer possible. Okay? Okay. So next, you have 2 and 1, the factors of 2x. If you are going to multiply 3 times 2, you will have 6. if you are going to multiply 1 times 4, you have 4. So, the middle term must be negative. So, if you are going to add, you will have negative 2. But you have negative 5. So, interchange 2 and 1. So, interchange 2 and 1. So, this is 1. This is 2. So, if you are going to multiply 3 times 1, you will have 3. 4 times 2, you will have 8. So, since the middle term is negative, so 8 is the negative, 3 is the positive. So, if you are going to add, you will have negative 5, which is now the middle term. So, therefore, 3 times 1, 4 times 2. So, 2, this must be 4, 1 times 3. And 4 must be negative and 3 must be positive. So that if you are going to multiply 3 times x, you will have 3x. 2 times 4, you will have negative 8. Negative 8 plus positive 3, you will have negative 5, which is the negative 5. Okay? Okay, another example of factoring polynomials if the given polynomials is a trinomial in its general form. So for example, if we have you have x squared plus 10x plus 24 equal 0. So this is easier because a x squared has the numerical coefficient of 1. So your only problem is the product of 24. So you will have, okay. So the square root of x squared or the factors of x squared is x times x. Since all the terms in the given product is positive, so all of the factors must contain the positive sign. Now 24 has so many factors. You can have 24 times 1. You can have 6 times 4. You can have 12 times 2. 2. You can have 8 times 3. So, you are going to add 24 plus 1 is 25, but you have the middle term of 10. So, 6 plus 4 is 10. So, this is the one that is the we are looking for. Because 12 plus 2 is 14. 8 plus 3 is 11. So, 6 plus 4 is 10. So, you have the factors of 6 and 4. So, that is how you factor out a polynomial if the given product is a general trinomial. So, that is all. So, thank you very much. And please answer the learning task that is being asked to be answered by you. Okay, thank you for listening. See you for my next video lesson.